Y'all better come get him before I drop him in this pit of fire.
Drop him right now. Neptune, you get right. Earth, you get left. What the hell you thought this was? The Avengers? Right. Y'all, I don't even like Moon like that. I say we let him burn.
Dang, all your friends fake.
So y'all just gonna let me die? Hell yeah. Fire. I'm not gonna let you die, Moon. Jupiter, what you gonna do? All you can do is turn invisible. And what? And what? And what? What you laughing at, Mars? All you can do is throw rocks. Sure can. And I'll. Oh, hell no. Where he go? Where that bitch go? If y'all don't help me, how you just gonna kill one of our members like that? Well, he wanted to talk junk. Ooh. Was that Haley's comment? No, that was Pluto. Get him, Pluto. That is what I'm talking about. Saturn, help him out. Okay. Ooh, Saturn, you the scarlet witch. I guess I can help out a little bit. We a low-budget action film, y'all. Earth, do what you do.
Swing low, sweet chariot.
What kind of power you had? I'm able to put people to sleep when I sing. Oh, so they call you NyQuil. Yeah.
Hello everybody, my name is Moon, and welcome back to my channel. Well, this went from doing these two separately before December the month to let's just do November and October together just to kill two birds with one stone. So, similarly to the July and August combo video, we'll go over the October stuff first, then the November stuff. And you're about to see a comparison between a month that mostly went to shit to another month that was mainly really good. It's a lot, but we're gonna get through this before the finale of this season of the Roadmap Review series, December the month. So first off, self-promo time. I just started an edit RP and stuff, which if you want to check that out, link in the description below. Second, if you want to support me further, check out my Ko-Fi. I just opened up art commissions on Thursday, so for more info on that and even some on my edit RP, check out the last video I did. As for what else I offer, I do more in-depth behind the scene blogs than I normally do on social media, and also show early sneak peeks into video sections and every now and then a video clip or two. So to check out all of this and my art comms, link in the description below. And as always, a huge thank you to my supporters for sticking with me and for supporting me going forward throughout this whole journey. I can't thank y'all enough, so really just thank you so much. With that being said, let's start off with the first week of October. This week, there's not much, but overall we had this new little fox race, which compared to some other races had a little introduction quest chain to open the race. Jasper has been struggling with some fox problems, so we investigate the issue in Golden Leaf Woods. After finding the foxes, you decide to play with them in the form of chasing them in a race.
Stop hiding! You were hiding forever! Ricky! When I catch you, Ricky! Ricky, when I catch you, Ricky!
After that, you witness me getting level 25, baby! Hell yeah! Then you realize that the foxes are tired, so you make them a little hut, and that's it. There's not much to really say on it as a side quest other than it fits a race quest for the most part, so I just give it a 6 out of 10 since it was cute and it's just a stereotypical usual race quest that's short and nothing to say there. Besides this, the Traveling Bazaar returned and had some permanently discounted clothes, discounted pets, the return of the pig pets one last time. I got one to name him Benjamin.
Respect Benjamin!
And of course, as always, horses. The following horses that were on sale this time around were the Gotland ponies, Finn horses, Pasafinos, and the Tennessee walking horses. There was also double star coins with the usual 10k star coins for $70, and with a bunch of horses I want, who could possibly buy me? I bought 10k. Y'all, I'm so sorry. I couldn't resist. I've been having a star coin buying itch for a while. Honestly, these 2 months were the most I've bought horses, specifically October, and even on my East Europe vault, I got some horses as well. As for buying star coins, it's back to only when it's double, and it's every now and then. I have no shame for getting 10k after so long. It was worth my money with how many horses I bought this year, especially with most of them being on sale. So because I got a bunch of horses in the span of 2 months, I'm gonna do a dedicated horse haul music video type section going over the names and nicknames of each horse that I got from each of the months. So yeah. The final thing this week was that there was another lifetime item for the Knight Rider set, which is a saddlebag, and that concludes the first week of October. Now we're gonna move on to the rest of the weeks of October, but just like the other events I've been doing, we're gonna cover the event stuff first and then any other game stuff for this event. So without further ado, let's dive into this year's Halloween event. Now have the return of the event that caused us so much pain and suffering last year. We just talk to the crow, get a tour from Jasper, and not have to worry about any more soul shards.
Moon?
What the hell, Og? This is the first time you appear in months. What the fuck?
They kept the shards.
You're joking.
Nope, but they don't have the portals locked anymore.
Thank the Lord.
But you still gotta grind them.
No! That's right, y'all. After telling us to use up our soul shards last year, it looks like they couldn't think of an alternative currency, so the shards are officially staying. However, they're now used to exchange for tokens to, of course, get this year's token outfit sets. They're also still used in the returning cauldron activity from last year, which we'll get into in a bit, but overall, it's good they gave them a purpose that's actually very beneficial. In terms of a story, I'm gonna be real with y'all, they literally just copy-pasted all of the quests from last year and the year prior, and even just gave us the same rewards.
Emotional, damn it!
That also made me sad because I really want to know what happened. But hey, at least you don't gotta see me go insane on the story recap like I did with the Rainbow Festival a while back. This event is mainly activity based, meaning most of what we're gonna talk about is really the activities, which, spoiler alert, 99% of them are recycled, but we'll still go over them as usual. So on to the activities. So as I said, 99% of the activities are recycled. So with listing all of the recycled activities with not much explanation, since a lot of us have heard this before, which if you haven't, I just suggest at this point checking out last year since it explains them very well. We have soul shard gathering with the tornadoes, pumpkin hunting with a semi-fix by having a slow moneymaker repeatable quest with it, cauldron making, the same old scarecrow and Galloper's memory races, the Galloper-Thompson gambit, haunted trail rides with the exact same recipes for the crow pets from last year, as well as the exact same encounters, held at gunpoint masked buying trick-or-treating, return ghosts to their retirement home, and SSO Pac-Man edition with ghosts. In terms of if any of these had any relevancy, the main three were mainly the shard tornadoes for the new exchange for the tokens, as I mentioned earlier, the pumpkin hunting with the usual daily to get a brand new pumpkin pet, which this year is a light neon green one with black eyes, and the cauldron activity to get a new haunted dressage set and a witch cat. For those who remember last year with the cauldron activity, last year it was a struggle to get the blueberry pumpkin pet, which was also a struggle around the whole entire world. If you want to learn more on that, again, go check out last season's October video. This year, the RNG was better, but still a pain in the ass. This time, instead of really having any two specific recipes that could help, it was all entirely random. What made it worse was, even though getting the cat was easier, the clothes were more of a pain this time around, specifically in my case, because it now turned into not getting repeats of the cats. The reason being is because for a bit, you couldn't sell the cats you got as repeats. So because of that, people including myself had multiple copies of the same witch cat.
And bro, fix your game, bro. Fix your game!
Don't get me wrong, I love this cat to death, but damn, they just need to stick to specific recipes that involve getting specific unique ingredients for stuff instead of having us hope and pray it comes from the heavens from this damn bubbly cauldron. Honestly, this is only better because of the outfit being new, as well as the cute cat and slight improvements to the RNG, but my opinion on it is very similar to last year, which in short is just don't do anything RNG anymore. It's not worth the time, and it would have been better if it was just specific recipes instead. I already have to deal with this in Alicia, Gacha RNG in Genshin Impact, and some other games that I've played. Just please spare me from ever touching RNG the way SSO does ever again. I beg of thee. As for new activities, y'all, there's only really one, and that is the Witch's Gambit. Similarly, like the Galloper Thompson's Gambit, it's the same sacrifice shards to get more shards tactic. However, the Gambit is different. Instead of running without crashing with no mind at all on where to go, it's dodging the damn lightning. Otherwise, this Val Witch Ghost will whoop your ass. So what happens when you do these both at the same time? Well... What I do like about this is that it can increase the difficulty, but again, the pain of having to wait a long ass time for this is just painful. Overall, I got no complaints about it since it did add something fresh. Just since most of the activities weren't new, it didn't add much into making this event get some love. I do think compared to the Rainbow Pride Festival, which was also heavily recycled, it was recycled stuff that didn't cause much of a pain in the ass on the level of the Rainbow Pride Festival did. Even then, with this being recycled, it was just boring from the repetitiveness. So now on to the stuff you buy, aka the horses and the clothes of this event. Like any event, the stuff you buy was the main highlight of this event. First off, the horses. Like previous years, you can buy previous Halloween horses, except this time, for the first time in SSO history, SSO actually discounted the event horses' prices. Last year, we did have the unfortunate retirement of the OG Galloper Thompson horse.
Moon, that's still there.
Wait, what? What the fuck? And did I buy any of the ones I didn't get? If it wasn't obvious when I said I bought a lot of horses, yes, I did. You'll meet him in the horse hall. As for new horses, we got 2 new Halloween horses based around witches. We have Elvira, the Tennessee Walker Swamp Witch, and Audra, the Halflinger Vala Witch, which also made their way into my Starcoin wallet as seen on my screen. I couldn't resist, y'all, I'm sorry. Both of these are really good magical horses, where the normal coats for both, in my opinion, are stunning. As for the magic coats, they're also really well done with introducing more 3D components with the antlers, as well as even to go as far as adding 3D details in the manes and tails of both horses. My only complaint is that they should have had the yellow moon globe of Elvira more in the middle, and the antlers of Audra just not block my face. They're still badass though. So for the grades of both on my magical horse grading scale, normal coats are both a 10 out of 10. Magic coats are both a 9 out of 10. Type of model, 10 out of 10. Do they fit the model? 10 out of 10, which concludes to a final score of 39 out of 40, which is a 9.75 out of 10. Both are really well done magical horses with just needing minor adjustments to them. So with what they've created here, I'm curious on what else they'll be doing for magical horses going forward. Next, we're on to clothes. Besides old sets and pets you can buy from last year, we got a couple of new sets. For starters, we got 2 witch-based Jorvik shielding sets based on the new witch magical horses, which I wanted, but I didn't get fully due to storage. I did get the dress of the swamp one though, as seen on my screen. Then we got the haunted dressage set, as I mentioned earlier, from the cauldron, and lastly 2 token sets, which include 1 grave digger set and a set that's basically the SSO version of Wednesday Addams. Overall, I don't got much complaints on the clothes, so for the most part, they're fine. That honestly concludes the Halloween event this year, so let's go on into the overall review of this event. I think the event this year was really an improvement because the pain of the soul shard grinding to unlock portals was finally gone. While I did like the new additions that were added that were minor, I feel like they didn't really make a big enough impact to this event. Not only that, y'all, the bugs this year were just rampant. We got a couple of bugs, including some that will be relevant in December. For starters, we got getting in the underworld, pink sky borders, cutscene NPCs loitering in the halls, SSO solar eclipses, fog, running in floor, wars, diagonal tornadoes, repeatable cats turning out to be a bug, dancing on air, getting a dangerous fall from jumping in races, free kelpies, shit still being stuck in my fucking hand since fucking June, crashing from unregulated lag, fucked up Pac-Man afterlife screens, double horse names, blood clothing names, mannequin horses part 4, running and jumping horses in place, walking on air, and my personal favorite, skin to bone characters with vaulting and armless performances.
Oh, I'm hurt. Oh, my neck, my back, my neck and my back.
It was so bad. We even had a bug login queue where it took people an hour or even longer to get in on October 21st, with people having positions ranging from 36 to 68. The odd thing on this is that all the servers had plenty of space, so either this was so buggy that the login queue bugged the fuck out, or literally the servers gave out from the amount of bugs this event had. This is honestly what happens if the Halloween events from years besides the one with the portal shard wall and the one where it was a lot of fun with Yidris had just added the cauldron activity, the witch hunt, and bugs that just went constantly crazy this year. Had this event been more fleshed out with not only continuing the Galloper questline with Linda and had new activities like the events that weren't a pain in the ass so far, this could have been not only more enjoyable, but memorable for the right reasons. As always, let's now go over the poll for this event. First question, as always in my polls, did you participate in this event? 85% said yes and 15% said no. Second question, did you get everything from the cauldron this year? 36% said they got everything, 34% said they got some or all of the clothes, 22% got nothing, and 8% only got the cat. This mainly shows the RNG for this was better, but just because it was better doesn't mean it improved. As a sub question to this, how long did it take? And the time period between on the answers range from a few days to the literal last update, which again just shows the flaws of having RNG, especially in SSO's case, on how it was handled. As for a second sub question, was it easier to get the pet? 42% said it was easier, 23% said I don't know, 21% said it was okay, and 13% said it was worse. Again, with the way the RNG went, a lot of the experiences varied, so even though the struggles didn't happen as much, it can still occur with the way it was handled. Third question, did you get all the clothes from the token shop? 50% said only some, 31% said all of them, and 19% said no. The token grind wasn't so bad, but it was still a struggle to scrap them up, especially if you missed days. Fourth question, with return of soul shards, how prepared were you? 53% said they had some, but still had to grind, 31% said they had sold/used them all last year, and 16% said they were prepared and didn't have to grind as much. I was one of the 16% that was prepared because of solely hogging my shards like a pack mole after the tragedy that was the Halloween event last year, but here it mainly shows SSO didn't put much thought into the content of this event again, besides some adjustments and minor stuff. Had they had thought what could replace the shards, then maybe this wouldn't have happened, but I doubt it. Fifth question, compared to last year, were you still logging on for the event, or did you eventually stop logging on as much for this event? 40% said they logged on each week, 23% said they still frequently logged on, 19% said they logged on most of the time, and 17% didn't log on at all. Sixth question, which Halloween horse was your favorite? 51% said Audra, 18% said none, 16% said Alvira, and 16% said both. This I wasn't surprised, since I do think the Vol Witch Halflinger Audra was a little more successful than the Tennessee walking horse Alvira Witch, and I think it's really again the big ass golden moon globe and the antlers that's positioned weird. It's really honestly if you don't mind it as much kind of thing, but yeah, Audra won out in the end. Seventh question, did you end up doing the re-released Galloper quest? 64% said yes, 19% said no, and 17% did some. Eighth question, scale of 1 to 10, how buggy was this event? And the overall results of this was mainly a range of 6 to over 10. Yeah, this shit was buggy as fuck. Ninth question, how did you want SSO to improve Halloween next year? People overall suggested new activities that are fun, stop recycling shit, make shit less expensive, have even new things to grind for that's fun, new ways to trade things, new types of clothing, continue the Galloper storyline, more ways to get shards and tokens, bring back the OG finding ghosts from way back in the day, and actually test stuff to make sure they fix bugs. Just like a lot of events in SSO, Halloween needs a lot of TLC, otherwise it's just gonna be a painful, dreadful event every single year at this rate. point. Second to last question. Which SSO Halloween event was better, last year's or this year? 63% said this year, while 27% said last year. Despite all the shit it did, this year was able to not stoop as low as last year's Halloween, thankfully. And our final question, as always, do you like the event? Surprisingly, 56% said I don't know, 24% said yes, and 20% said no. I believe the reasoning for this is because with how it was mainly recycled, there wasn't really certainty on if this was a likable event or not, since some stuff was good while other shit was just bad. So with all this in mind, let's go over my usual grading scale for this event. For starters, activities, 5 out of 10. Planning, 5 out of 10. Character incorporation, really a 3 out of 10, not much happened. Purchasable products, event currency or not, 10 out of 10. Event currency accessibility, 5 out of 10, since this was still an event where you had to log on every day to get tokens, but it wasn't as bad. Optimization, 1 out of 10. Do I really need to go over why? Presentation, 7 out of 10. Quest, since it was recycled, a 5 out of 10. Horse XP, 10 out of 10. Rider XP, 7 out of 10. And it concludes to a final score of 58 out of 100, which is a 5.8 out of 10. It's just barely better than the birthday event for this year. Y'all need to start making this event more fun again now, otherwise it's just gonna become really more tedious and broken, my god. That's it on discussing the Halloween event this year. So now let's go into the other things in October during this time. Besides the event, we got a new transition system for special gates, where instead of having to go back to a walk to get out of the special gates, you can now just speed up to get out of it, making it a lot smoother and less painful. Then we finally got the ability to actually jump from a trot. This should have been added since the beginning, but hey, it's here now. Next, there was cleanup on the aftermath of the Russia-Ukraine server transition, then Dorchus and Solus, the Bird Irish Cobs, returned for a rerun, and the Belgian Warmbloods got moved to Golden Leaf Stables. And that concludes the roadmap of October, which goes into the actual first week of November. But for the sake of convenience, I'll start with calling the first week of November's roadmap week 1, but for now, let's go on to the Gameblog. First off, SSO details more on how they plan to steer away from events having quests, since as we noticed in a lot of recent events, there wasn't any continuation or any new quests of existing quest lines. Reason for this is so they can focus on making the events built solely on content, but the problem is with the way we've known how SSO does content, it's really hit or miss. And most of the time, even with permanent content, it turns out dreadful. I feel like they should focus on a balance of content and story in events, because in a lot of events, the story is what drags people into the actual event activities. Take Genshin Impact for example. The times their updates are based around events, they usually have a well thought out story with activities that are fun and not stress inducing to complete in a short timeline before they leave. One example of their reoccurring events that they usually do is the Lantern Rite Festival, where each year they have a new story based around the Lantern Rite, as well as some new activities. SSO's main issue is that they don't utilize the importance of having a fresh story with fresh activities. They highly utilize stuff they've done before. Now, there's nothing wrong with having returning activities, don't get me wrong, they are fun, but if the majority of the events recycled despite the trailer making it feel like new stuff was coming, it's what led to people slowly getting bored. Take a look at every trailer for Halloween, y'all. They're the same with only a few new bits of new shit to buy, or rarely have any new parts of the story. If they had start building a new complete event story each year, it would have made things a lot more memorable and fun when it comes to events. Content is important, but the story of the event is just as important. Next, the second half discusses the upcoming Hollywoods revamp from the GOAT, Game Master B, which throughout this month, we've been getting teasers from music to breakdowns to even a little bitty baby trailer. For the most part with this, it's still a mix of excitement and dread, so that leads to this part of the Gameblog, which will make sense once we start discussing the November section of this video. Here, they detail on how we'll be doing different paths and an all-new progression system, and mentioning how the rewards will even include the chances to get discounted magic courses from the paths. I'll discuss more on this, but y'all, literally this is actually a really good idea. They then finish off the blog with some more sneak peeks of Hollywoods and what it'll potentially have, and even a tease that they're already planning to have more plans for Hollywoods next year. As for any horse announcements, we got two of them. First off, we got the reveal of the Saul Francis coat colored range, and then we have the reveal of the way the Dutch Warmbloods look in motion, and oh boy.
Boy, if you don't...
Basically, we almost had another Gen 3 lip zanger spoiler war. However, it did come out in November, which we'll talk about in the November section for this video. So for now, at the moment, people were unsure due to the way the gates were, and once again, the way SSO recorded them. So now on to the last section of October, which for the sake of this video, I'm combining these two sections since they're short and sweet before I do the Impro 2 Horse Hall of October montage. As y'all can see from the title, the first thing we're gonna talk about is that the Ambassador Program is officially gone. For those of you who don't know, the Ambassador Program was a program that involved influencers of people over the ages of 13 to 15. Then 3 was a good way to showcase the creators and act as a bridge to get player feedback. However, as seen from the Ambassador series I did with Rattle, that wasn't the case. It ranged from people misusing their power to people being extremely biased to SSO, to the creation of accounts wanting to get SSO's attention down to the style to become one, to even ambassadors doing nasty shit. On October 5th, SSO decided to announce the program will disband, and in terms of if the ambassadors get to keep their ambassador gear, they weren't allowed to keep it, and I think the reason was because of a few things. 1. Some ambassadors were barely active, and even some ended up stepping down in the process. 2. It was just a heavily flawed program as seen from the Ambassador series, especially with how some ambassadors were toxic, while a few were actually being good ambassadors. And the final reason, I think it's mainly wanting to put their resources into the game itself. Regardless, I do think the Ambassador Program leaving was a good thing considering how much it affected the rift in between communities, and on top of that, it represented a lot of how SSO only picked people that either heavily sugarcoated or were extremely biased to SSO's side. Hopefully, they never do a program like this again, because this just goes to show that when giving power to the wrong hands, it can go wrong in a matter of years. The last final thing of October was that SSO Mobile finally came to Android, and to say the launch was a shit show was an understatement. Despite a lot of people having the right specs, people couldn't even download the game because of it not appearing in the stores. This led to an uproar that then led to SSO lowering the shit to finally get people to play on Android. But overall with this, it really just shows that even the mobile launches can get fucked up real bad. And this is also a PSA, y'all. If you ever want to try SSO Mobile, don't. It is painful, unless if you want to go through 10 stages of grief in the matter of seconds.
Oh my god, I almost died. No. I almost died. That was so scary. Thank you. That's okay.
That's it for October. So as an intermission before we move on to November, let's start the October Horse Hall montage of all the horses that broke my Starcoin wallet from October. For the first week of November, we got the release of the Gen 3 Dutch Warmbloods, and if you think my horse buying mayhem stopped in October, y'all were clearly mistaken. This breed heavily shocked a lot of people to the point where so many people got on to get this horse. It was essentially like the Mustangs release, except English Horse Edition. So my thoughts on this horse, y'all, these are phenomenal. All the colors are chef's kiss, and the way they move are so elegant. The spoiler video that SSO didn't do them justice. They are so good. My favorite coat color out of the batch is the Cremello, which might give you a hint on which one I bought. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. The reason is just because it reminded me a lot of the Cremellos from the Pippa Funnel games, where it was properly shaded and had the little details of a white sock or two. In my opinion, out of all the Cremellos SSO has done, this is the best Cremello in game right now. It's not so lacking that it becomes a mole rat, and it's not paired with an ugly ass mane. It's just right. It's beautiful. The only complaint with the Dutch Warmbloods is that the gates just need to be more smooth, and then it's gonna be up there. This is so well done, and it's even in competition with the many other well done Gen 3 horse breeds here in SSO. So now onto the grading system for this horse. Coats are a 10 out of 10, gaits are a 9 out of 10, models a 10 out of 10, in real life model accuracy is a 10 out of 10, animations is a 10 out of 10, and that leads to a final score of 49 out of 50, which equals a 9.8 out of 10. It's such a gorgeous horse that needs a bit more tweaking, and it's up there, especially for dressage. As for what else happened this week, the only things from this week is some more dressage gear sets, which are all cute, and we had the H&M All-In horse retire November 15th that led to me rush buying it on my main and my alt as well before it left. So let's do a farewell send-off to the forever gone Belgian coat that will never get ever again. Thank you. That's it for week 1. So now on to weeks 2 through 4, the Hollywoods Revamp. The last 3 weeks of November mainly prioritized Hollywoods getting revamped. Before diving into the Hollywood stuff, here's the non-Hollywood stuff. Due to the revamp of Hollywoods, it changed the layout to the point where the Valedale champ is temporarily removed until next year to get revamped. In place of that, we now get a champ every 30 minutes, and it even happens basically every hour, which I'm hoping they keep this once it actually returns. But to commemorate one of my favorite champs being gone, here is the last final run of the old Valedale champ.
I don't like where this is going.
I've fallen. Girl, watch out! Watch out! Watch out!
Go crazy!
The tiger.
Other things that were non-Hollywoods related includes more dressage tack, the Tennessee Walkers got moved to Firegrove Village, and this year's Black Friday sale, which in the clothing department was mainly Druid stuff, and for horses, it was the following magical horses: the Fish Aquatique horses Campos and Talina, the Andalusians Ala and Umbra, the Fish Appaloozas Sedna and Proteus, the Gem Pacifinos Calder and Ephora, and the disgusting Dragon Crackhead Frisians Fromar and Alderach. Now I also got 3 magic horses, one of which grew on me, and I'll talk about it in the November horse haul. The main issue with this Black Friday sale this time was essentially the same issue as last year, where everything in SSO should have gone sale, and they should have had all horse breeds on sale and not just magic horses. I didn't really complain about the only magic horses part since I was missing some that I actually wanted, but I do think there should have been normal horse breeds as well, since I've been dying to get a Gen 3 Lipizinger for the life of me whenever it goes on sale. Other than that, that's about it. So to go into the hole that is Hollywoods, let's start off with the actual revamp. Y'all, when I tell you, with every sneak peek shown for this area, I was on the floor. And then once I saw the actual area in person, I went through the floor so hard I switched home stables.
Oh, what the fuck is happening here?
This area is stunning. The fauna, the flora, the details, the water, even though one of my friends fell in the waterfall and almost dissipated like in Fontaine from Genshin Impact.
I am under the water. Please help me. Here too much raining.
The little animals around the area, except the ugly ass doll squirrels, the music, the updated Farrah's crafting weeds being 3D, just everything was chef kiss. My only gripe is really like the lighting of the sky in some bits, but even then, I don't really mind it, to be honest. So with all that in mind, I'm giving it a 9.5 out of 10. This blew most of, if not every area revamp that SSO has ever done out of the water. This is so stunning, and it should be praised to the high heavens for how much love went into this area. With my gushing of this area out of the way, let's go into more gushing on the Hollywood's Druidism progression. So my body not only went through the floor, it transcended through time and space this update. Literally, this shit is so much fun. You start off by following a rune runner all the way to Hollywoods, and there you get to meet Wilma Sunbeam, who is actually the lady that took in the late Elizabeth Sunbeam, who ends up calling us Bug because we didn't properly introduce ourselves. She then goes over how you need to collect fireflies to get lights to then sacrifice to the Mother Stone, which is where the main hub of the Druidism progression is. There are 3 paths total. The Path of Whimsy, which is just focusing on how to collect fireflies more with Rayanesh, the Path of Runology, which is where you learn how to do the rune glyphs and runestone carving from Jade, and the Path of Terra, which is gardening led by Gaia. Except we won't be able to do gardening until next year in January, so for now we got seeds from the leaf piles. Basically, this functions like a skill tree, where every time you unlock a node, you can either choose between buffs, different ways to do more activities, quests, or get rewards like clothes, makeup, gear, hair, and permanently discounted magical horses. For the Path of Whimsy, you can get Hermera and Tithia, and for the Path of Runology, you can get Ernest and Petra. So real quick to go in depth on the rune glyphs and runestone carving. Rune glyphs are basically sacrificing gardening powder, which can be found either from leaf piles if you're high enough within the progression paths, or you can exchange them with lights to get some. Then you just have to match the glyphs shown above the little stone without leaving the fog circle, and overall it can be fun if you can get really easy ones depending on the difficulty, but they can be a pain in the ass if you accidentally walk away outside of the fog circle on accident if you think you're walking into an area that has fog in it.
Oh, hell no! Nigga from drinking water? You die from drinking. You could die from drinking.
Other than that, I like it. As for runestone carving, it's basically find an itty bitty runestone grid somewhere in the world of Hollywoods and do a little grid puzzle varying in sizes and different commands you can do that gives you more lights depending on how many commands you click on. Once you've completed 5 commands in total, you get lights as a reward. Other stuff you can do also includes taming the magical horses in the classic red light green light game, unlock satchels with garden powder, and find wisps with the Path of Whimsy unlocked a little bit further in the beginning to get horse XP. There's also buffs that also let you unlock ways to get horse XP from just collecting the fireflies as well, along with some other ways. In terms of issues that came with this, we only had an issue that's technically in December, but I'm putting this in November because it's related to this, to be honest, where SSO had upped the prices of the lights to get the nodes and had nerfed the runestone carving. However, they had accidentally nerfed it way too hard to the point where you just can't find any, so they did end up fixing that, but they still kept the new prices of the nodes. They had also decreased how many lights you get from the runestone carving after seeing that a lot of people were using mainly the runestone carving to get lights to use for the progression, and they also wanted to add more lights to other activities and also try to balance out the progression so people don't rush into finishing it. In terms of how people reacted to this, some people were upset, but it was mainly more so like, I wish you would have told us about this sooner sort of thing, and more so like, I'll deal with it. it sort of thing. In terms of myself, it didn't really affect me. I don't think it really ruined the update for me since this is still a lot of fun. So I don't really have much complaints to this since I was also already planning on going slow with it anyway. So that's about it. Overall, with this whole progression system for Hollowoods Druidism, I love it. The buffs are really rewarding, and with the rewards you get, it's a lot of fun. It's a balance of grind and a lot of fun to do. It's basically relaxing like the gold nugget mining from Camp Western, and I can't wait to see what the path to Terra holds next year. In terms of a score, I give it a 9 out of 10 since the gripes are mainly just needing stuff for fine like the glyphs and some other shit. So with that, I also did a poll on the area revamp and the Druidism, which was in combination with the poll we'll be discussing in December. So for now, let's go to the Hollowoods poll. First question, do you prefer old Hollowoods, new Hollowoods, both, or none? 73% said new Hollowoods, 18% said both, 7% said old Hollowoods, and 2% said none. The revamp was mainly positive, so I wasn't really surprised on the results for this. So overall, again, this was just a gorgeous revamp. As a sub question, if you pick old Hollowoods, why? And people mainly said the nostalgia, the graphics matched the game, and it still has beauty. And as another sub question, if you pick the new Hollowoods, why? And people overall said it's not only a gorgeous revamp, but it actually added stuff to do in the game, making Hollowoods as an area feel alive, and I 100% agree with this. This made Hollowoods go from a very empty, quiet area with really nothing much to do there, to being full of life and love. It also shows when SSO showed a map where the majority of the players globally were in Hollowoods, that basically a lot of people were there doing the progression and just enjoying the area as a whole, because it was so well done. Without Hollowoods getting revamped, we wouldn't have new things to do permanently endgame wise, and this just shows SSO is capable of transforming a dead area into an area full of life and feel truly alive. Second question, what's some changes / improvements you want for Hollowoods as an area? Overall, people mainly said have more roaming animals, get rid of the ugly ass doll squirrels, have a storyline, fix some of the fauna that's kind of floating like the trees, add more NPCs, more hidden places, update the secret stone circle, trade lights for Yovic shillings, add races, and for even some, it's fine the way it is right now. Mainly I think with this is just there's now more possibilities at what Hollowoods could potentially have. So hopefully besides Druidism, we see a lot more being done that continues to breathe more life into the area itself. Third question, what's your favorite path? 40% said Whimsy, 38% said both paths, 19% said Runology, and 2% said none. It's probably mainly because collecting fireflies by running around is just a lot of fun, especially when you throw in the wisps into the mix. So that's the main reason why I think this one overall. Even then, both paths are pretty fun once you get the hang of it. Fourth question, do the new light prices bother you, or you don't mind them at all about being increased? 60% said yes, 30% said no, and for some reason Insta glitched this out. I don't know why this happened, but it's supposed to say 10% and not 11, but yeah, I don't know, it's supposed to be 10%. I think it's mainly just no heads up was made again till after it happened, and it started looking impossible at first, but I do think once shit got fixed with the carving reappearing again and some other stuff, I think people were able to adjust for the most part. Fifth question, did you still like the Hollowoods progression despite the price change? 55% said yes, 24% said no, 10% said they didn't like it even before the price change, and 12% said they still haven't tried it. Sixth question, any improvements / changes to the Hollowoods path? And overall, people mainly said lower the prices, have more things to unlock, be more active, and mainly overall just be more balanced. Second to last question, do you think the rewards from the path are worth the grind? 60% said only some, 20% said yes, all of them, and 12% said no. It's mainly worth it for the most part, but I can also see why some of it is only worth the trouble, especially if you already have the magical horses that are in this. And the final question to this is, do you like the remake of Hollowoods overall? 74% said yes, 22% said only the area revamp, 2% said only the druid pass, and 2% said no to everything. Overall, this area's revamp and Druidism had the majority positive about the whole thing and installed a lot of hope that SSO is gonna be going higher from here on out. There were some bumps in the road during this, not gonna lie, but despite all that, it brought a lot of things to the table that improved SSO as a whole. That concludes everything with the game stuff that happened in November, so now onto the November Gameblog. In this game blog, it mainly discusses a preview on the Christmas event and what's to come for part 2 of Hollowoods. For y'all in the future right now, yeah, we gonna talk a lot about Christmas in December.
around me are familiar faces, worn out.
In this section on the Christmas event, SSO talks about how this event will have a winter magic progression system, new activities centering around the backstories of magical horses that are coming, restore winter magic of the winter village, and more. With what's teased here, it looks like Christmas might be good this year. Again, y'all, in the future. This is foreshadowing for what's happening right now. As for the second part, discussing Hollywood's Part 2, it mainly discusses game design, finally addressing how we leave after the event's done and over with, finally admitting that they need more permanent content, mentioned how other areas are gonna hopefully have a permanent activity type thing, a little tease on Path of Terra, and a little PSA on if people ever want to try game design. Overall, this game blog promises a lot for not just December, but SSO's future. So I'm curious how shit's gonna go going forward, especially for next year. Again, y'all, foreshadowing. In terms of horse stuff, we got a sneak peek teaser of the Ardennes and the new Christmas magic horses that actually beat the spoilers. And y'all, I'm telling you right now, this had me go through the floor again. All I'm gonna say is the Christmas magic horses will make sense in December's video, and the Ardennes are probably gonna get a 10 out of 10 from me in January. We then also had a mini dilemma where in the picture SSO showed on how many people were in Hollywood's globally, they accidentally revealed a map showing the non-Star Rider area, and somewhere, some people mainly threw a fit that the non-Star Rider area shouldn't be happening at all and that non-Star Rider shouldn't get anything, and another argument was that it was taking away some of the area from Epona's archaeology. Here's the thing, I can understand wanting to have more as a Star Rider, but y'all, non-Star Riders need to have more too. Literally all non-Star Riders got at the moment is Moreland and fucking Fort Penta. I'm sorry, but this is just one uproar I just don't agree with. It just seems childish to get upset at a new non-Star Rider area when you're gonna be able to go over there too. And if y'all disagree with this, please let me know. I just think we should at the very least welcome this area with open arms, cause like I said before, Star Riders and non-stars are gonna be able to see this area, so I don't think it's something to really get up in arms about personally. As for other minor stuff, we also have like a code to get 5 garden powder, an office tour that's totally not gonna question where our money went, and SSO doing a Josh Hutcherson rickroll. And before I go off to the outro, here is the November Horse Haul. But do you think my ass will touch any of these other fuckers with these shitty magical coats? You got another thing coming. You need to leave. So as y'all saw in my horse haul for this section, I actually caved and got Proteus. So the thing is, even though I normally make fun of the magical coat of this horse, and I even had said that I wasn't gonna buy him, I ended up buying him anyway. And the reason is because of the normal coat. I think the normal coat is stunning, and as I've stated, I believe back in June, that the Appaloozas have grown on me even though they are still stiff as hell. I also think at this point when it comes to magical horses that, you know, I do want to get magical horses that I like the normal coats of, but not a fan of the magical coats. So basically, I have resolved to where if the magical coat is trash, depending on the coat and if I can tolerate it, I'll consider buying it just when it's on sale. I am not paying full price for any of that stuff. Don't think 1 minute admit that I'm gonna confine and get the fucking dragon Frisians. That's a no-no in my book still to this day. So yeah, maybe one they'll get fixed, but we don't know at this point with SSO. And with that, y'all, we've reached the end of this roadmap review video. November was mainly peaceful up until the price change debacle and the itty bitty uproar on the non-Star Rider area being teased, and now all we have left is December. And I'm telling y'all right now again that it's literally a shit show. So stay tuned, y'all, because we about to go in real deep with this one. We're gonna dive head first into the ongoing flames that is this Christmas event. So until then, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!